Another day, another horror story coming in. A violent attack by a foreign national on Irish soil. This is the culprit in this case, Alexandre Pallares from Spain. Doesn't speak a lot of English, but he's been jailed for assault. Assault on who? Assault on a toddler, small baby, in an Irish nursery creche. Yes, in a creche. This guy was employed there to look after children. Again, I'll say it. Don't judge a book by its cover, some people say. But if I was a parent and I was bringing my 18, 19-month-old child to a nursery and this was lurking around as an employee, I would be asking questions. That's just me, my opinion. Don't take my opinion for anything. What would you think? There he is. There he is, assaulting a toddler. So anyway, let's get into the details. And I'll tell you what, it goes beyond just this. Because if it wasn't for the tenacity of the parents in this case, pushing for answers, Tusla were involved, the Gardaí were involved, the nursery. If it hadn't been for the parents pushing for this entity would probably still be working there. Because he's a liar as well as being an assaulter. So anyway, this is a true story. This has just came out, been reported on today. Creche worker. And what is it we're told? Oh, without foreign labour, the whole Irish tourist industry, hotel industry, care industry would collapse. Would it? Well, we'll have this chap working in a creche worker who upended and forced a toddler into the floor, causing serious injuries. A serious assault, is jailed. Alexandre Pallares, age 27, of Maynooth Road, Celbridge, Kildare. He's a Kildare man. He upended and forced a 19-month-old boy into the floor, leaving an outline of a large toy block on his head and cheek. Has been sentenced to 3 years in prison for assault. 3 years. 3 years. Alexandre Pallares of Maynooth Road pleaded guilty to assaulting the boy at a Giraffe creche. Charge of child cruelty was also taken into consideration. At Naas Circuit Court on Thursday, Judge Elva Duffy heard the evidence from Garda Podrick Murphy that on October the 22nd last year, the boy's mother got a call from the creche at about 11:30 in the morning to say the son had an accident. And was injured when he lost his balance and fell on some Duplo toy blocks. No, Alexandre upended the child and forced him head first into the Duplo toy blocks. The boy's mother collected the child and noticed an imprint of the block on his forehead and cheek. 2 days later, got a call from the creche asking them to come in because there was concern over a supervision issue and a possible push on the boy. Now, if you were the parent and you got that call, maybe you were thinking, well, maybe another child came and shoved my little boy into the ground and they weren't being properly supervised. Maybe that's the first thing that would have came into your mind. But no, it wasn't another child. Garda Paul Murphy said he arrested Pallares on the 26th of October. And during the interview, he said he was playing with the children and there was lots of toys and boxes thrown on the floor because it was a free play period. He then got frustrated. When he was trying to tidy the room and he grabbed the boy and threw him to the ground in frustration. As you do, someone else's child in a creche. That's, Maybe that's what Alexandre does back in Spain, or has done back in Spain, but no, that's not the way we act in civilized societies. Evidence heard he got nervous when the injury to the boy, and he knew the situation he was in. He claimed he used an ice bag to ease the boy's pain. What, shoving a bag of ice on his face after you'd shoved him into the ground? You know, let's be brutally honest about it. What 27-year-old man coming from Spain, speaking limited English, at least so he says, wants to sit in a creche all day playing with other people's children? And then when he can't handle it, he gets a little bit frustrated. He decides to attack one of them. Maybe it's just my mindset. I can't comprehend that. Can't get my head around that. Pallares, a Spanish national, said he had encountered language difficulties when reporting the incident and used the word fell instead of throw. So he said he fell. What he meant to say was, I threw him to the ground. Language difficulties. Sure, you don't need to speak English if you come down. Just use sign language and stuff like that. Just move your hands about, you know, gesticulate, or say me no speak English. Sure, get an interpreter. We'll pay for you for an interpreter. Then when you commit crimes, we'll pay for you to go to jail. Then when you get out, we'll pay for you to get benefits and support. The judge viewed the CCTV, and in the sentencing, Pallares, she said she would describe what happened as a push. It was far more serious. There was a serious lapse in temper and appalling behavior. He didn't report it until hours later and made something up, which was self-serving. So he's also a lying scumbag. I'd love to see what vetting was done in this guy before he got the job, if any. I've seen the CCTV and it was very serious. He was driven into the ground, not just a push. So he shoved him face first into plastic Duplo blocks. She said there was no evidence that Pallares had used an ice bag either. I'll say it again. Bringing your kid to a nursery or creche, this thing standing there, my gut instinct would turn and get the hell out. I would make a judgment at that stage, saying I'm leaving my kid there. In a victim impact statement, and here we go. This is the real crux of things. How it affected the child beyond just physical injury. The boy's father said the assault on his son was an act of wickedness, evil, and extreme cowardice. And the CCTV will live with me and haunt me till the day I die. You know, if it had been me personally, and I was in the court, I would have said to the judge, listen, forget the 3-year prison sentence, forget it. Just put me and this guy in a room together for 3 minutes. 3 minutes. And switch the CCTV off. I would have tried to educate him. Educate him. But anyway, I see the images at night when I close my eyes. I can't outrun the incident, can't make it better or protect my son from shock, pain, and suffering he's gone through. So the dad's completely traumatized. So too, I'm sure, is the mother. It's invading my personal, professional, social situations, fatigue and emotions, strains in some close relationships, and I can't trust those in positions of courage. I'm not going to say any more. Father was also critical of both the Giraffe, Creche and Toddler in relation to their engagement with him. Well, I tell you what, it's a little bit like Simon Harris and the parents of young Harvey. When some heinous act is committed, resulting in harm to a child and ultimately its death, you're not really going to want to sit down and talk to the parent, are you? I've been astonished to witness the disgraceful lack of concern and lack of willingness to help the innocent victim. Really, is it a shock these days? A lack of willingness to help the child victim from both the state body entrusted to oversee child safely, Toddler, and the creche where the incident took place, Giraffe. It's extremely difficult to trust that the appropriate apparatuses are in place to support any unfortunate victims of such a crime. The innocent victim has also shown lasting impacts. That's a little 19-month-old boy, requiring nightly reassurance and warm physical contact to relax enough to sleep. His abrasions have healed, but the lasting psychological impact is something that we need to worry about. Our son has developed now a natural fear of most adult males, something that has caused barriers to him, causing closer bonds with family members. So, bottom line is the guy got some jail time, and undoubtedly he'll be back out. Where will he go then? What occupation will he find himself in? You might be thinking, well, there's no way he'll ever get back into childcare again. You think not? Don't bet against it. It's a shambles. But anyway, tell me what you think below. Of course, in the comments section, cut and paste the link to this, share it out, let people see what's happening. Not just on the streets and in the bars and in the parks, but in the creches too, the nurseries. Alexandre Pallares upended, forced a child to the ground, face first into a bunch of play blocks. Now he's completely traumatized the child, probably for life. But anyway, for now, I'm Rick Munn. This is No Risk, No Reward Media, over and out.